This is going to tie our building permitting. The good thing about this program, it ties us not only to our financial part of it, we're working the same system, it also ties the court system, which we use for code enforcement. We've been working with MyGov since forever. I never wanted that program to start with. I just say that. If you know me, you know that's what I think. It hasn't worked. It doesn't work. Jeremy spent all of last year trying to get it online where we could actually work it online. Literally spent hours and hours on it. We had 2 contractors look at it. It just didn't work. It doesn't work. This one works and does much more than what we were looking for. And this is what we want to do. We talked to several different companies, but this is the one that I'd like to see. And this will carry the city for a long, long time. It does everything we want to do. Code enforcement, permitting, it'll get us online. People will be able to pay online. It will make things much quicker and much more efficient. So I'll let him go with that.
Let us do, one of the things that came up, I guess about a year ago, was the ability to do, for developers to do building permits in their office online.
Right.
Be able to do that when you say permit.
Yeah, we tried it with what we got now, and it just absolutely does not work, and this one will, so.
Good deal.
But I'll let him do a quick presentation, Craig Dixon, and go from there.
Thank you.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Steve. Mayor Ransom, good evening, and City Council. Mr. Freeman, glad you could make it. Really appreciated working with your staff. You should know that I've been very impressed with your staff. Frankly, I don't even know their last names anymore. It's just Steve and Jeremy and GP and the team. Met with them a few times over a number of years actually now, so this has been a long time coming. So appreciate your attention this evening and allowing me to join you this evening. I'm prepared to take any questions you got tonight. Okay, so my thought was introduce a few basic things about the company, our existing business relationship we have today, and then take your questions. Today, Tyler, the company I represent, I heard, the product you might have heard is Energov, but really the brand is Tyler, and that's who I represent. Tyler Technologies does business today with the City of Greenville, with our financials applications. You might have heard the term Encode. That is a Tyler product, okay? And you're using our cash collections module, our content management system, for document management and notifications with the public. This is very exciting for a guy like me who works on the permitting and planning side because I can plug in all of those modules and it's free to go. And so there's going to be a lot of opportunity for us to really expand the Tyler footprint that we already have today. Tyler is the largest software provider in the United States to local government. Now, we're not the largest company, but we have the largest user base. Focused mostly on the U.S. We do have some customers across the globe, but mostly U.S. based, and all of our support, all of our resources are U.S. based here. We have a large office in Plano, in fact. A lot of strength and stability at Tyler. A lot of industry recognition. I worked for them for 20 years, and I wouldn't work for anybody else. So I really believe in this company and what it's trying to do with its clients. This is a picture in the background of the office we have in Plano. If you're ever in Plano and near the Tennyson Business Park area, take a tour of our facility. I think it would be neat for you all to see what a software company looks like from the inside out. And, you know, what's neat about this facility is it used to be the old YMCA in Plano. So that was a pretty cool development project, frankly. And so there's a really neat story that we have to tell here, not just in our existence and work here in the area, but in Texas as a whole. We have our annual user conference every other year in Texas. So this is home for us, okay? And that benefits our client base. I'll show you a list here of all the customers we have today in Texas. But the vision that Tyler has is to be a trusted partner for city government, that when you have a need, there's a product gap or a technology gap, you can start by calling us first. Now, we won't always have what you need, but chances are we might have a really good product, and it's going to already plug in with what you already have. And so that's our goal, is to be the one vendor that you can count on. So today, for example, this is what you all have with us, using the financials, billing, court. What we're proposing now is we complete that loop by adding building and planning and public works asset management. It's a pretty exciting opportunity. So the ecosystem, the system that I'm representing, as you can see, is focused on permitting, licensing, asset management. The blue bubbles around the outside focus on the modules: community development, code enforcement, asset management. With some business management, we also do environmental health and fire protection if you all need that. The goal is to do those four things in the middle, though, because I'm not here to just sell you some software. My hope is that it will actually do something for you all, and that's to enhance public collaboration, leverage GIS, provide actionable insights and better decision making here for the city, and not just for your managers, but you as a city council, and of course, put technology in the hands of your field inspectors and workers so they can have everything they need to work efficiently and effectively with the public. So here's that list of customers here in Texas. And so you can see our presence has grown very fast. We actually have more customers than this in Texas, but these are the customers that are using the product that we proposed to your department today. So you can see we've got a strong footprint here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. West Texas, I've already provided all this information to the staff, and so they've had the chance to do reference checks. And so when Steve says this company can deliver, hopefully the proof is right there, that we have a strong user base, that you'd be joining that family of users. Okay. So the enterprise permitting and licensing, or what we like to call EPL, is designed to be an end-to-end permitting solution. The problem with the systems like what the city has today is that it's limited in its functionality. I mean, it might be very good at permitting in just one thing, but maybe it's not very good at code enforcement. Certainly not good at plan review. And so this system does it all. It's one system is designed to bring all those departments together, and it's built. You'll see purpose built there, because there are a lot of vendors out there today that try to retrofit maybe their Salesforce system or another CRM system and make it a permitting system. We did not do that. At Tyler, we built this technology for what they do, with people that have done it before. About 35% of our staff used to work in the public side of things. Should be a modern and intuitive user interface. The interface that they'll be using is based on Google's material design concepts. So it's modern, it's easy to learn. You hire a young staff, they're going to pick it up real quick. For those that maybe have been here a long time, we'll still teach them how to do it, because it's all right, we'll get them through it. But it can work on a smartphone, it can work on a tablet, and so it resizes of all the things that you would expect modern software to do. That's what this technology is built on. On the public works side of things, so that's what we call enterprise asset management, EAM. Same design, same look and feel, just obviously a different department and needs, registering the assets. How do we report analytics regarding your assets, whether they be facilities, trucks, all of those things that you're managing and tracking, and then tie those to GIS. Here's the big wins we're after, though. First, we want to provide 24/7 access to your community with a portal that is actually usable, engageable, and helpful to them. Okay? The second thing we want to do is provide electronic plan management. These days, we need to be more digital. And if you've got businesses or people that move from other communities, you want to make sure that your community is up to snuff. And that's a big trend in local government right now, is providing electronic plans. Third is we want to automate your workflow. If you've heard the term workflow, this is something that's very real in our software. All workflow does is say, if this happens, then this is the next step. And rather than having to call each other and say, hey, where are we at in this process, the software should have the business logic to be able to push things to the right people at the right time. That gives you as decision makers to be able to look at any time, what is the bottleneck? Where are we hung up? Whose desk is this sitting on? Because it's not actually sitting on their desk, it's in their queue, and managers can see that information. So again, the hunting and pecking for a document or whose desk is it on, that's all going to be gone. Now we'll also be able to have a greener footprint because we're not printing paper, we're not requiring our contractors to bring in these big plans and rolls of plans anymore. So it's a very exciting trend in local government that you're going to be right on top of now with this solution. And then the workflow will keep you keep your folks collaborating together. Now lastly, of course, your software has to provide information that is useful, right? Because you depend on information to make decisions. So what are the metrics? Where are your active permits happening and why? You know, where are the bottlenecks in your system? How can we improve that? Right? Who are the people that could benefit from some more resources? All that comes from metrics. And so what I'll show you here is a few ways we do that. Let's back up to the portal. This is typically the area that the city councils, when I give these presentations, have the most questions and concerns, and rightly so, because you're trying to serve your community and give them tools to interact and work with you. This screen as well, the portal, is also usable on a desktop, a tablet, or a smartphone. So I could be a developer on site doing a building inspection, and I could reschedule the inspection because maybe I'm sick or my staff isn't there. I could just log in my phone, log into the portal, and reschedule my inspection without having to make a phone call here to City Hall. Right, Jeremy?
Yes.
Yeah, he likes that.
Please.
Yeah. This is also where I can upload digital plans and submit those. But this is also the same place where I'll receive them back. So not just permits, but the plans is going to be in the same place. We're going to also organize same place for scheduling. There's going to be a calendar tool where your citizens, your contractors can log in and see a calendar of all the activity they have. When are invoices due? When do I have to pay for this next permit fee? All that's going to surface right up without these guys having to do a thing, because the workflow is pushing all that data to the portal, giving you guys the transparency you need to interact with your community. Should I stop here and take any questions on the portal or continue?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Transitioning current information or current accounts that are already set up in the current system to the new system.
Yeah.
Does that automatically done, or does it have to be created first time into the system?
So the old data, you're asking about maybe a data conversion?
Sure, like
a
in my
migration?
office, yeah, like an electronic health record. If we go to a new one, we have to create it typically. There's not the ability just to transfer that account to an account. You have to
Right.
actually create it.
No, we don't want to do that. Our goal is to work with Steve and his team to extract the data from MyGov and populate our conversion database, and then we will take it from there. A good example is like a moving truck. You know, we're going to ask you all to unload the furniture, put it in the moon van, and then we're going to take it from there and put it into all the new rooms in the new house. And that's what we call data conversion. That is part of our proposal that we did already. And so we're going to grab all the data that we get. So there's no limitation on the history that we can get our hands on for MyGov. Any other questions on that? I appreciate the question because that does come up quite a bit.
Have you done those conversions before? we
We have. With MyGov, we have. Yeah. Some are easier than others.
Sometimes it's square pegs and round holes, right?
They are. And it won't be perfect because their system, it's a different house, so to speak, right? The homes are different, right? So in some ways, we're going to have to decide, make some business decisions. Where do we want this data element to go? Sometimes it's hard on us if the system didn't validate what could be entered in some places, and maybe some pieces of data were entered, maybe an address was entered 3 different ways, right? That's going to be a challenge for us because we can't clean all that up. So there's some things, there can be some compromises, as we do the data conversion. I just came from Leander today, who just went live yesterday. They moved from a system called My Permit Now, and that was very, very difficult because that company didn't want to help us at all with data conversion, but we still got it done. We had to twist some arms. So that is probably a challenge that we'll face together, but fortunately we have done MyGov conversions in the past and been successful.
Yeah, we got to it, but what are the hardware implications of this? Will this be hosted?
It'll be hosted, so hardware will be minimal. Yeah.
Okay, you host it yourself?
We use AWS,
Well, okay.
Amazon Web
Okay.
Services,
The
yeah.
service that you use.
Worldwide player, yeah.
Okay.
So your data will be secure, backed up. We'll basically serve as an IT group for y'all, so, we'll apply the patches, the updates. It is a multi-tenant, so what all that means is that you guys have the autonomy to say when you want to update and upgrade. So you kind of get the best of both worlds. You get some autonomy, but you still get us to take care of your system online. Thank you. Yes, sir.
Will this portal have access for the public to make complaints about code enforcement problems?
That is a good question. I believe so. We have that portal. Did we include that?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, they said
Sorry.
it would, yeah.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah, see, I told you these guys don't know what they know. So yes, that's what we call our Tyler 311. Yeah. Okay, great question. Great questions. I have a few more things to introduce if you like, or yeah, okay. The paperless plan review is another concept that's, as I mentioned, is a big trend in local government right now. And so we're going to give you the best of both worlds here. We'll allow your contractors and developers to submit plans digitally, but we're also going to help your staff with integration to what's called Bluebeam, an electronic markup tool that's the leader in the industry. And it's a seamless integration. So they will be in our system, and a reviewer would say, I'm ready to mark up this plan or review it. It would immediately take them into Bluebeam, so they don't have to log out or log in or open a different icon. It takes them right into the session. They can mark up the plan, and they can do it at the same time as someone else is doing it down the hallway. So there's no step-by-step. It's really, really neat technology. Allows them to collaborate, so fire, engineering. I mean, some projects, there's a lot of collaboration going on, and there's a lot of chance for risk and bottlenecks. So our goal is to, again, make that as efficient as possible. We can see where everybody's at in that process, who has submitted the plans, and if someone has marked something up, someone else will say, oh, I don't need to say the same thing, so they don't have to step over each other. So again, everybody's working together in a much more efficient manner and be able to turn those plans back. When that's completed, the system will immediately create a report of all the markups and send that back to the submitter through the same portal. Send them an email and say, hey, your plan's been reviewed, here's a few things that you need to know. Click on this link, and it'll take them right to the portal, to their session. So we're going to make it very, very tight communication there. Any questions on plan review? I think this would be a big one for your community. I think, yeah.
Well, thank you. Are there any questions?
Could I ask just one, please? You talked about the ease of accessibility to this system. What if someone wanted to conflict that thing in some way? What's the secure aspect of it that takes the risk out?
Great question. Well, fortunately, we've chosen a platform that is high. It's a global leader in Amazon Web Services. So first of all, the ability for them to get access to the data is near impossible. These days, ransomware is you're probably more at risk yourselves if you were to host it and get some kind of ransomware attack or something like that than through the cloud. So that's the first layer of defense. The second, however, is that we monitor that system. We have triggers and alerts and high-level software to make sure that if we suspect that there are any bad actors that are trying to access the system and maybe copy some information, we would be notified immediately. And so we have some things in place to monitor the system as well and protect that data.
Thank you.
Data breaches are a big deal now, so
Oh, yeah.
appreciate the question. Yeah.
So how do y'all work with, when people send in public information requests and they want stuff from this system, how will the city be able to get the stuff that they're asking for? Is that something that our people here will be able to just log on and issue or put together queries and print all that stuff off, or can we work with you guys?
Well, so you're asking when incidents are submitted, how do they come to the staff and how are they acting?
No, not
upon?
incidents, like
Okay.
if, let's say that there's a complaint from the public about a specific address and they want to see everything that the city has in its system,
Oh.
all of this, is that something that we'll need to work with y'all on, or will our people be able to get digital copies of everything that's in this software suite?
Well, it should be better than that. Are you talking about transparency, maybe, the public being able
Yes,
to get
like
information?
FOIA requests or public information
Yeah.
requests?
Okay,
Yeah.
absolutely. So really, it's up to, we give you the autonomy to decide how transparent you want to be as an organization with all your permitting and planning and code enforcement activity. So what that means is when I go, mind if I show the software for just a minute? This won't take a minute because I've already got something called up here. When I go to the software, this is the portal. Okay, now it would have your brand, your city logo on the top, and the color and the background, images, whatever you wish. Okay, but when I come to this portal, you'll see that there's a login area. And so I can either be a guest to your portal or someone that does business with the city. Okay, the reason why we do that is because sometimes you might have businesses that are looking to invest in your community, but they want to pull information. They want to find out your license activity, permit record. Maybe they want to track what's going on in a certain area, or maybe even on a certain block. You can make all that information public, just tie it to the system. Basically, you turn it on and say, yes, we're going to make this information public. Then they can come in and run their own reports from the portal. Now, if you want to make some of that data private, for example, if someone's maybe the residential activity or maybe code enforcement activity, you want to keep that a little more private, then you'd have to log in, and even at that level you can decide what is public and what is private. What is just for me because I'm part of the inspection, the code enforcement case. So you have these levels of transparency, but if you flip the switch, that is automatic. So there's no digital copies or moving around things. You're basically just opening up the floodgates to say we are going to make this data transparent and available.
So
And
you
then-
can go field by field and say, we never want a driver's license issued
Oh, of
or
course.
a email of the public
Right.
or anything, okay.
Right, and we have a templated database that assumes some of that already, so you guys don't have to worry about that, but you can turn things on and off as you go forward. So maybe after year one, you're like, you know what, we do want to show some of this activity. We think there's some value there, you can try that out, and if you change your mind, you should turn it back off.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Any other questions? Thank you for your time tonight. You're the second item on the agenda tonight. If you want to hang around, we'll probably vote on that about 6:15, so.
Okay, thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time.
Steve, you got anything?
No, we need it. That's all.
Okay.
It's what we need.
Do you need this back?
Okay, at this time, we'll go into executive session, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock for the regular session. presentation by Kyle Carlson, the teaching pastor at Crosspoint Fellowship. Please come forward. How are you tonight?
Well,
Good. Thank you for being here.
my pleasure. Let's pray together. The Lord God, maker of heaven and earth, we give you thanks for your divine power and for your kind providence over our world, and for your particular provisions and blessings upon our beloved city, Greenville, Texas. Lord, we acknowledge that in your wisdom you have allotted the periods of time and the boundaries of the dwelling places of all men. We acknowledge that since ancient times you have summoned those who are called by your name to seek earnestly the welfare of the city, knowing that in the city's welfare, their own welfare will be secured. Therefore, O God, we ask that your hand be upon the proceedings of this council. May those presiding and those presenting conduct themselves with civility and grace, thus honoring the image of God stamped upon the soul of every human being. May discussions and deliberations be carried out with humility and curiosity, and may you grant your wisdom such that each decision made would reflect the principles of truth, righteousness, and justice. Lord, we ask that the efforts of these civil servants might bring honor to your holy name, and that each decision reached and each action taken might conspire to cultivate the true welfare of Greenville, Texas, and its citizens. In the name of Jesus Christ, the risen Savior and the reigning King. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much. Yes. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. There are no presentations tonight. You have placeholders in your agenda if you have one for citizens to be heard. Citizens are invited to address the council on topics not already scheduled for public hearings or listed on the agenda. Public testimony occurs when citizens are invited to address the council on items that are on the agenda. If you'd like to address the council, please complete a citizen's comment card and submit it to the city secretary. Public testimony will start with item 8A tonight, and there are no public hearings and there are no ordinances, and so we'd like to consider item 8A, consideration and action on a resolution approving the purchase of a Windland Type 3 fire engine.
Mayor, I do have one for the
Oh,
citizens.
I'm sorry. Why do I always do that? I apologize to everybody.
Ms.
That's
Linda.
that's it. Very sorry.
Good afternoon. Yes, you can try to keep me from talking. My name is Betty Mundy.
Hey, I would never keep you from talking.
I know you would because I wouldn't let you. Betty Mundy, 3414 Marshall Street, Greenville. My concern is in the back of my house has now become a dumping ground. It started out with one truck, then it went to a van that's full of PVC, PV, whatever those pipes are, and now it's another white pickup truck back there. Now, I don't know who owns that property. Somebody said that the city does, and I've called the police department twice. Yeah, I've called the police department twice, and I went to the sheriff's department last Wednesday. Someone promised that they want to come out, but my main concern is the dumping of those cars behind my house. So,
We have your contact information, and we'll check into it, and somebody will get back to you.
that'll work.
Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, there are no citizens to be heard now. Okay, now we'll move on to resolution 8A, which I mentioned earlier, so I won't say it again. Jeremy, would you like to talk about it?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Thank you for the opportunity tonight. We're bringing before you something you probably already know about to some degree. In our budget last year, we had it to replace one of our brush trucks, a 2000 model brush truck. And what we've run into is something you're seeing, I think, throughout our city and other departments everywhere. Where, as far as fleet goes, we're having trouble getting what we're ordering. And so we've ran into a situation here where we're being told it could be up to 24 months before we get a replacement chassis that we've asked for. And then it'll be another 12 months after that before once that goes into production, to outfit it to our needs. And so that was a huge concern for us. And so we stepped back and reevaluated what we had, talked to some of our vendors, and we found a demo unit that's being built by the same people that build our fire trucks, and the same company that sells our fire trucks anyway. And it's a little bit bigger apparatus, so it's also a little bit more expensive, or it's a lot more expensive actually, I won't say a little bit. But with that said, they can deliver that to us within, hopefully the end of the year is what we're looking at. This thing's already been built. It's already on the production line. It was started as a demo. I use the word demo loosely because anything that's being produced right now is pretty much being sold. I don't think there's any opportunity to have something as a demo anymore. So, but they had one in production, and so we talked about it. Realized it's expensive. It's actually something we considered. This type of apparatus is something we considered originally. We did shy away from it a little bit because of the price. But with that said, there are some things that I'd like to talk about just to, validate it and I guess assure you that it's still a good purchase. So one of the things, this thing, if you can imagine, you've seen our grass firefighting trucks, what we call our brush trucks before, and then you see our big fire apparatus. So this piece of equipment is somewhere in between. And it really has features where it can do both for us. And one of the things that really excites me about it is it will go at Station 4, which is predominantly our county fire truck. So when we do mutual aid out in the county, we take that piece of equipment out there, that big fire truck that all of you see out at Station 4. That's an 800. When we bought it, it was $800,000 piece of equipment. Today, to replace it would be $1 million. So what we would like to do is take this new truck and go out and respond out in the county with it, and save some wear and tear. With that said, I think it'll really be a good thing for the county too, because there's a lot of places in the county we can't get with that truck. It's just too big. Imagine it going down county roads and then trying to turn in a house that's maybe a quarter mile off the county road. Where this particular piece of equipment is really designed for that. You see them out west a lot in the wild and urban interface environment, where you have a lot more of that response, like in California and stuff like that. So it'll really help us out there. We can use it in inclement weather. During the ice storms, it'll be a lot easier to get that around town than it will be the big fire trucks. And so, it does have its advantages there. We would like for you guys to consider that. We're still going to pay for it with our TIFMAS funds. Another thing that I'd like to bring up is TIFMAS likes to deploy this particular type of apparatus because of what we just talked about. It's able to fight brush fires and structure fires at the same time, and so it's a really dual purpose vehicle. And so hopefully it'll be able to get us a few more TIFMAS deployments as well. As you know, this year that's not been a problem. We've been somewhere. We're really going on 2 years now. We have been deployed somewhere. I did some figure this morning, and just on the border deployments alone, we billed $1.6 million to the state, and about $650,000 of that is coming back to us as a profit. So it's paying for itself. It's still a lot of money. I still recognize that, and so I'd love to entertain any questions that you guys might have.
So when you said it'll be available at the end of the year, are you meaning like 2022 or 2023?
No, the end of this year.
Okay.
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
Jeremy, you're doing a great job, and we appreciate your recommendation. And if there are no other questions, I'll open up for public testimony.
I have a question.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What's the typical life expectancy on this new vehicle?
This one will be similar to what we have now, 15 to 20. We've never had this particular type of apparatus, but they're very sturdy as far as how they're built and the way we'll use it. I fully expect to at least get 15 years out of it, the minimum.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions? I'm sorry. Okay, I'll open up. Is there anyone like to speak either in favor or opposition to this item 8A?
Nay, we received no cards.
Okay. I'll close public testimony. What is the pleasure of the council regarding this?
I'd like to make a motion to approve.
And I would second.
Motion is second, please vote. And it passes 6-0. Resolution 8B, consideration action on a resolution approving enterprise permitting and licensing software from Tyler Technologies. Steve. Steve here.
Yeah, he's on home. He's home, that's all right.
Yes, sir, what we are looking to do here is to get rid of the software package that we have now, we've been permitting with, we've been using it for roughly 12 or 13 years. It's been a problem ever since we had it. When they did a demo, I never did want to get it. I got outvoted on that deal, but we had an old program that we used that never was integrated into this one, so we're still using two programs now to take care of business. This program here is Tyler Technologies. This particular program is called Intergov, and it will take care of our building, code enforcement, help, or everything we do, we'll be able to do on it. We'll be able to get it online where they can actually, a developer or a customer can register online and actually apply for a building permit and actually pay for it online once it's approved, which we haven't been able to do. It'll also allow us to go digital, which right now we're not. Everything we get comes in on paper, so you can, if you ever want to see all the paper we got over there, holler at me sometime. I'll be happy to take you to the mezzanine and show it to you. It's unbelievable. But, you know, nobody's doing that nowadays. It's also, it'll be a lot easier for people to get information and see it. That program also ties into our Encode financial program here. So now we're having to, we actually do a receipt in MyGov, and we actually have to physically walk over here and do a deposit and all. We want to do all that now. I mean, it also ties to the municipal court system, where now we're emailing things over there and back and forth, and this will go straight to them. We'll build our cases right into the system. It'll already be there. We'll be able to see what the outcome of it was, because now we don't. We have to call over there and ask, what was the outcome of this case? Or if you call concerning one, what was that? We'll be able to look at all that. It'll be much quicker, much cleaner, much more transparent. We interviewed several companies, and this one answered all the questions. We actually looked at this five or so years ago. I really wanted it then. It was a different administration at the time. Didn't want to spend the money, but we're actually going to pay for this over a 3-year period. It was a budgeted item. I'd be happy to answer any questions about it, but this is what we need to get this department running really up to everything.
I have a question about the pricing. It says the entirety of the contract is priced at $838,000 over 3 years. The price breakdown is $351,000 and $37,000 for training, and then 2 annual call-up payments around $150,000, and all of that taken together doesn't add up to $838,000. So are we getting some kind of discount here, or something I don't understand about it? Are those, is it $838,000 in addition to that, or how does that?
I'm gonna let GP answer that.
Yeah, I don't have it in front of me, but I do know the calculation on the invoice was a little confusing. But pretty much how it broke down to is there's a one-time cost fee associated with it. And then outside of that, there's annual cost, and the annual cost is a little higher than the following 2 years. So I know me and Carol had gone back and forth on the math a little bit. So I don't have that up in front of me right now, but it should. I don't know.
Well, I think we'd like to know.
Yeah. Well, that's why I was wondering like how you were reading it, or if you had something directly in
I
front
don't
of you.
know.
As a packet I can look at.
I think where it says 149 years 2 and 3, that means 149 for both year 2 and 149
Okay, so
3.
it's 150 roughly for 3 years.
That's right. Plus the
Plus-
initial.
Right,
So it's
right.
450, 350, and 37. Okay, that
Yeah,
is close.
that's it.
That's close.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
If you look at the.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That was an impressive presentation you made. We appreciate that. And I'll open this item up. Are there any questions for Steve regarding this? Any questions for GP? There being none, I'll open this up for public testimony. Is there anyone like to speak either in favor of or in opposition to this item 8A, 8B?
We have no cards.
Okay, there are none. If not, what is the pleasure of the council regarding this issue?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's a motion made.
Second.
And second, please vote. And it passes 6-0. I'd like to ask the city secretary to read the consent calendar, please.
The city council meeting minutes from October 11th. Resolution authorizing payment to Tyler Technologies for annual software. Resolution authorizing the purchase of a pipe hunter sewer jet machine. Resolution authorizing the purchase of a John Deere backhoe and of a John Deere skid steer, and cancel the November 22nd and December, that's not right.
20.
December 20th city council meeting. Typo.
Okay, are there any questions from council regarding any of these items on the consent calendar? Okay, there being none, was there any public testimony? Question for public testimony? If not, then I'll close the public testimony. What is the pleasure of the council regarding these six items?
I'd like to make a motion to approve with the corrections to the December date.
And I'll second that, Mayor.
Okay, motion second, please vote. And that passes 6-0. City staff and council reports, September financials. GP?
No, he didn't. He's not doing the financials.
Oh, it's
That'll
on
be
the
next
agenda.
meeting. On the one you have, but
That's okay.
Carol, I don't have a mouse, so you'll have to turn it for me. It's okay. Yeah, we'll give you the financials at the next meeting, so you'll catch up with that. There was some things that weren't ready yet in time for the
You're
packet.
gonna do, okay.
Yeah. So I'll give you the status report. Here's the Waste Connections log for September. Actually went down. I didn't think that it would go down just because based on the emails that I was still getting, so it did get a little bit better, so it's a little bit less than 150. Still the main complaint and the main one is missed pickups. That's the biggest struggle that we're still dealing with. If you'll look the blue line there from August to September, which is your second complaints, those did go down, so they seem to be addressing them a little bit faster. Not quite where we need it to be just yet, so that's still going to be a work in progress. Contractor utility cuts stayed about the same. Last month was at 35, this month at 31. So thankfully weather has been decent up until this week. Potholes on the in-house repairs were a little bit less, went down from 47 to 38. Street sweeping actually went up a little bit, so from August to September did 46 miles. Down at the bottom you'll see their downtown area is swept on a weekly basis, and they coordinate that with our parks department. So sometimes if you see our street sweeper does come through the downtown areas at like 4 o'clock in the morning or pretty early when nobody's down there. So if you see our parks blowing things into the street, that means the street sweeper is probably going to come by that morning or pretty early. The mowed areas are still the same mowed areas. Long Branch, they hadn't quite started. They just started that at the beginning during this cycle, so that's why you see it not quite done yet. So they'll start down on the end over there near the hospital and then work their way down to the I-30 section of it. So you'll see that, so you won't see it done all at the same time. So it takes, we only have one guy, well, one boom mower that does that can safely drive and do that as well. With the rain, that might delay that a little bit, so you might not see it coming through, but it'll start at that section. Line of sight intersections that were cleared were 19 for this month, about similar to where we were back in January, February, those time frames. Signs replaced, we replaced over 52 signs. That's just replacing. I didn't get any, they were just doing a lot of, if you'll see at the bottom, September was a lot of the new street name signs. So a lot of the streets in these subdivisions that are being built, we're now putting the street signs up for those, so that's where the majority of September's came. And then this is a new building permits issued that we pulled off of MyGov. Thank you, Carol, for doing that. And broke it down by month. So you'll see compared to last September, there was 33 building permits issued. That just means that they get to start the building process. And then 29 in September of 2022. So you can kind of see the ebb and flows there. And we'll keep reporting this so you guys can see this as well. And then something totally different certificates of occupancy issued, what can be for several different things. It can be for new builds, it can be for remodels, several different things. So don't equate those two together. Sometimes you can issue a building permit and it takes a longer time to get a CO. So just different things like that. But you can see there back last September of 2021, there was 17 COs issued. This September there was 29. June there was only 3. June of 2022. So it just depends on those kind of things. And then we're still at the same place we are for the raw water line. No updates, nothing new to update you there. Still constantly working with that. Still talking with those pipe suppliers, and Press is probably talking to them pretty much every day that they'll answer his phone calls. So no new updates there. I'll take any questions if you have any.
I have a question. I noticed we do 38. Is the pothole crew full-time every day?
I don't think they're full-time every day because they do get pulled off. If we have a water break somewhere, they'll have to, temporarily replace that if they need to. So I wouldn't say you just, they do have to, because we have, I know Press isn't here. Steve, how many we have in streets? Is there 8 guys?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
but I believe there's 8, and so they're doing. You got to think about. They also do. If Steve has a substandard structure that they have to tear down, so they're tearing down that and hauling that all off. So they do that. They're mowing the Long Branch and doing that as well, and doing those kind of things. So I think he has a crew of 2 or 3 that does that. Pretty much exclusively, so you're not going to just see crews all over. What I'm saying is you're not going to see just crews all over just fixing potholes. So they do other things.
Utility cuts, we have a subcon.
Yes, for the larger utility cuts, like the one that was just here, just a block over in our building for Wesley. Those are done exclusively through contractors. So yes.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Summer. And city council discussion of proposed agenda items, or any proposed agenda items that the council bring up for discussion. If there are none, you have board and commission minutes before you, and we've had executive session already and done not anticipate a vote on executive session. So thank you for coming tonight, and this city council meeting is adjourned. Thank you.